NBA Finals is over. Feeling good, feeling great, feeling good. How are you? Welcome into Timeline T. I am your host, the Sam D, aka Sanders May Jr. Yeah, I said it. NBA Finals is over. Salute to the Denver Nuggets for winning the NBA championship. Yep, that's the type of time I'm on today. I've seen enough. Bigger, in this case, is better. The size of the Denver Nuggets is too much for the Miami Heat. Spo can keep trying to put in a little zone. He can keep trying to put in a little, auto switching and blitzing on pick and rolls, and all that shit is cute, bro. It's all cute. I got a 7-foot Serbian that don't take no for an answer in the paint. And I got arguably the best two guard in the league. And they are the new Kobe and Shaq. Oh man, this should be fun. This should be fun breaking this down. This shot chart's gonna be very interesting today. Full disclosure, I have not looked at the shot chart in advance. So we're gonna get some live reaction to that. Oh, but there's more than just the NBA Finals going on. We have a battle to see who will be moved first. We got the live reaction yesterday of Chris Haynes jumping out the window, maybe a little prematurely, saying that the point fraud has been waived. Now there's been reports conflicting that, saying, well, he's not technically waived yet, but if they don't figure out a sign and trade or whatever, and they have until the end of the month to guarantee his money, yeah, the point fraud's about to pay. But what does that mean for the beard? One team wants the beard, another team wants the point fraud. Should be simple and plain, but if one thing goes another way, if one player goes to one team, another player might spin the block and go to that player's old team. It's a lot going on there. We'll get to it. EA Sports, they tried to trick us. They released a Madden cover while on the low. There's some funny money issues going on with the new revamped EA college football game. Not a huge topic, but again, I like talking about money here and how sports and business are intertwined, even though fans want to ignore it. So we'll touch on that. We got a bunch of other NBA T items as well to get into. Some LeBron stuff. LeBron news cycle never stops. No matter what he does or doesn't do, somebody's gonna write up a 300, 400, 500 word article just to get the clicks. So we're here to talk about it. All right. Let's go ahead and tap in. Nuggets take game 3. Man, that game was not a pretty game at all. It was dominance. It was size over matter, size over culture. Let's jump right into it. 109-94 was the final score. And to keep it a buck with you, it was worse than this. This is a 15-point win. The Nuggets kind of took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. They kept Jamal Murray in there so he could get the triple dub. And the Heat kind of let their role players go crazy. I think Duncan Robinson hit a bunch of threes in the fourth. So, this score wasn't really indicative of how bad of a loss this was. This, to me, showed me this series is over. And yes, Miami won game 2, and it's possible Miami could win tomorrow night and make this go at least 6. But with what I saw from Denver, who again, we still haven't seen Denver play well. Yes, I know Jokic and Murray did something unprecedented last night. Both of them coming up with 30-point triple dubs. And Jokic with a 30-20-10 triple dub. Something that's never been done before in the NBA Finals. I know all of that. I'm still telling you, as someone that has watched the Nuggets throughout this regular season, they haven't really played a quintessential Denver Nugget game yet. That's the scary part. And that's why I'm saying this series is over. The series is over, bruh. Series is absolutely over. we could go ahead and chop down some of the numbers and all this stuff. You know, the third quarter was really pivotal for the Nuggets. They came right out and took it right to the Miami Heat and stretched the lead and didn't really look back from that. You know, we talk about offensive rating. Denver's a 120, which is really, really good, especially in the finals with a team that's known for defense like the Miami Heat. But Miami struggling from the field again. But here's where you have the haves and have-nots. Michael Porter Jr. is supposed to be a third option on this team. He took 7 shots. Aaron Gordon's supposed to be a fourth option on this team. Took 10 shots. Jokic and Murray carried them last night. And of course, you got Christian Braun, who has kind of made a splash and has shown himself in this NBA Finals. Not even really the playoff run, just here in this NBA Finals. He has flashed in multiple games. And it looked like at times the Heat were actually trying to like double off of Jokic to go double Christian Braun. That's how bad it got last night, to where at one point Jimmy left Nikola Jokic to go double Christian Braun. That's really indicative of how discombobulated the Miami Heat are. You're going to leave Jokic for some Christian Braun, who even the most hardcore of NBA fans didn't know existed before this NBA Finals? I only knew him of just seeing him on the bench and spot duty, filling in, getting some run during the regular season. But in terms of this, is my first time really watching him play for like an extended run. Michael Porter Jr. better be careful. Michael Porter Jr. better be careful, because Christian Braun is taking your minutes, and that could be very indicative of how that goes next season. Especially as a rook. Be careful, Michael Porter Jr. Be careful. But yeah, I mean, look, we could start with the paint. 58 rebounds to 33, okay? Like, the size is just too much. And that's with Bam grabbing 17 boards. 58 to 33, so a 25 rebound advantage. It's just too much size, bro. It's too much. Or we could just say the Heat are too little. I'll pose that question. Are the Nuggets too big, or are the Heat too little? Because it's not like, yes, the Nuggets have some size, right? Like, they don't have a 6'2" point guard that kind of orchestrates shit. Like, Jamal Murray's a strong 6'4", 6'5". KCP's another guy that's 6'4", 6'5". Some say 6'6". I won't give him that much. And then you got, their front court is like an actual old school traditional front court. Jokic is a footer. You have Aaron Gordon that's 6'9", 6'10"-ish. And then you got Michael Porter who's 6'10"-ish. So this is a big lineup. And then you're bringing in Christian Braun off the bench, who's about 6'6", 6'7". Uncle Jeff is 6'8", 6'9". And then we finally got some Bobby Schmurder minutes last night. I was asking for it, and we definitely got some Bobby Schmurder. Now, it was a minute, 23 seconds, but we got some Bobby Schmurder minutes last night in the NBA Finals. And he gave you a dime and a board. So productive, 1 minute and 23 seconds for Bobby Schmurder. But it's too much size, bro. Like, Spo, I have a video on this channel talking about the Eric Spoelstra versus the Nugget size and how the Nugget size was too much. And I said that after game 1. And, game 2, they kind of went away from that. They took a lot of threes. The threes weren't falling. And now last night, you saw it for yourself. Bruh, they just beat these boys up. When your starting lineups got 3 dudes that got double digits in boards, and then you got 2 dudes that dropping 10 assists. Like, come on, man. And that's with 7 turnovers by Jamal Murray, by the way. Yeah, so, I mean, and they didn't even need to take so many threes. 18 threes. I mean, I didn't do the fact check, but this has to be a season low. 18 threes for the Denver Nuggets. That has to be a season low. Thank you for those pulling up and hitting the like button. I do appreciate that, because the algorithm appreciates it, so I do as well. So 18 threes going for the Denver Nuggets, while you go to the Heat. They've been shooting like they've been the Warriors this whole playoff run. 35 more threes last night, and they only made 11 of them. So we've talked about how when they win games, it's because they hit a barrage of threes. They did not hit a barrage of threes last night, even though they were at the crib 31%. Sometimes the game really is that simple. I know we have all these debate shows and analytic shows that try to, find you numbers to know the numbers inside the numbers. And no, sometimes it's just, these dudes take a lot of threes and they ain't make none last night. And there was, they got out rebounded by 25 on the glass. Dog, 58-33. 58-33, bro. Scrub Zero pulling up, appreciate it. And he's got some stats. The Denver Stars combined for 51 boards. We could do that math in real time. Right here is 41. And then another 10 between KCP and MPJ. So the whole, we could just go off of, if we put in Murray, Jokic, and KCP, they out-rebounded. Nobody had 38, right? No, 33. Yeah. Murray, Jokic, and KCP out-rebounded the Miami Heat. Therein lies this matchup. They're too little. They're too little. So I asked the question, is Denver too big or Miami too small? Scrub Zero chiming in, Miami just too small. I mean, I think either way is right. The Nuggets are either too big, pause, or, the Heat are too little. And unfortunately, to me, this series is now over. I needed to see a game where they take advantage of the size because there's no adjustment for that. Again, like I said the other day, who are they going to start? Who are they going to try to dust off? Dwayne Dedmon's not even on the roster. Who are you going to dust off? They throw Haslam in there for, fanfare. But in terms of the actual size, I'm surprised maybe Haysmith, but Haysmith ain't really going to, do anything with Jokic. He could just be a body. But the size just isn't there. They tried it. It worked in game 2 by putting in Kevin Love and benching Caleb Martin. It worked. It worked for a night. That's not going to work for 3 more dubs. That's not. It's just not. And let's go ahead and get to the shot chart because as you saw, it was only 18 threes as a team for the Denver Nuggets. That means they were eating in the paint. So let's go ahead and go to the shot chart. All right, so Denver Nuggets, you see it here. 2-pointers. First and third quarter, going crazy. First and third quarter, eating with 2-pointers. But let's see overall. That's Denver, right? All right, so you see, the threes were not falling. You see it here. Corner threes, not falling on either corner. The three ball was not falling, and why even bother with the 3 ball when you're eating like this? When you're eating like this, why would you bother? Why would you bother? Just eating in the paint, dogs. And we can even go to the first quarter. First quarter, look at that, eating in the paint. All but one bucket in the paint. Well, I guess baseline, we could count that. I mean, it's technically not in the paint. So all but 2 buckets in the paint. It's too big. They're too big, dogs. Boogie Down in the house. What's good, Boogie Down? This is officially the most boring NBA Finals of all time. Well, I mean, it's the Celtics' fault, right? That's not the NBA's fault. The Celtics' fault. The Celtics weren't chokers at the crib. Game 7, getting blown out. Tatum, twisting the ankle and failing to channel Mamba mentality to push through. It's the Celtics' fault because, the Celtics, I think, have the size and they have the wings to potentially, combat what the Nuggets are offering, but the Miami Heat don't. Denver was playing pre-Wardell B-ball. Yeah, I mean, they just beat them up inside. And that's why I was just like, just do that every game. I know Jamal Murray can hit threes. I know Michael Porter Jr. loves his own 3. I know KCP is a 3-and-D guy and Bruce Brown could do some of that as well. Like, all their guys can essentially go off. Aaron Gordon can hit the three as well. But when you're looking at a front line that has a Strus, a old Kevin Love, and a Bam Adebayo who's going to be running around trying to cover 5 people at once, oh yeah, dogs, take it in the paint. So first quarter, you see it. Third quarter, you see it. And they even hit a couple of jimmies. But right now, like the first and third quarter, when they went really crazy and established themselves, established the inside presence, that's where they went. They went right to the cup. Because again, who's the rim protector? Bam? Bam's not really a shot blocker like that. He's 6'9", 6'10-ish if you want to give him that much. So the fact of the matter is that, you know, they had a chance here to play with their food, and they didn't. They finished their breakfast. They kept punishing them. Murray, Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter, Jeff Green, Murray, Jokic. And that's what I loved about Murray's game. It wasn't about the three ball. He can fall in love with that three ball. It's one of his Achilles heels. He has the penchant to fall in love with that three ball. He likes to do the step back, the side step three, and all that type of shit. You saw an attacking two guard last night, and that's why I titled this stream the way that I did. They made these boys look like Kobe and Shaq last night, bro. Jokic was unstoppable in the paint, and Jamal Murray could do whatever he wanted last night. It gave me like, you know, 01, 02 Lakers. Like, it looked like that last night. Boogie down, basketball is dead. It's a dying sport. I mean, obviously got hot taking. But I mean, I don't think it's a dying sport. I think basketball's probably been the best it's been in terms of popularity and everything else with it. But I understand what you're saying. You're saying this finals is anticlimactic. This finals is not exciting. Although, again, if you love basketball, why wouldn't you love seeing the dude go for 30, 20, and 10? Why wouldn't you love seeing a point guard / shooting guard, or a shooting guard that's playing out of position at point guard, giving you 30 pieces with 10 dimes? That's not boring to me. To the casual fan, yes. To the casual fan, yes. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. It's not buzzer beaters. It's not crossovers. It's not step backs. Coming on somebody or just, you know, backing somebody down, you know, Shaq on Chris Dudley style. It's none of that type of shit. It's just, I'm bigger than you and I'm better than you. And there's nothing you can do about it. And you're done in 5 games, 6 if you're lucky. Thanks for playing. Like, that's really all it is. Boogie down, feel sorry for NBA fans. It's an atrocious level of play. There's nothing about a 30, 20, 10 game that's atrocious, dog. To me, that there's nothing atrocious about that. It's not Denver's fault that they're playing a team that doesn't have size. Y'all told me this is supposed to be a fix, supposed to be Lakers Celtics. Neither one of them are here. So if the league was really rigged, if the league was really fixed, we would be talking about Lakers Celtics. Neither one of them are here. We have the 2-time MVP with a shooting guard who was ascending right after the bubble, or in the bubble ascending, then he tore the ACL. Now he's back and he's looking like the dude that was in the bubble after a couple of years of working his way back. You have another team that was a Cinderella story, an 8 seed that knocked out the number 1 seed with the best overall record in the league. Has been road warriors, knocking teams off on the road. I mean, I don't, if you want crossovers, if you want, you know, the Jason Tatum robotic package, cool, but I'd rather see Jokic dominate in the paint than Jason Tatum doing cosplay Kobe shit for 7 games. I'd rather see Jokic utterly dismantle the Heat in 5 games than to watch, you know, Tatum and Brown figure out who's gonna be the guy every other game over the course of 7 games. Script here, this is how basketball should be played, exploit the favorable matchups. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of basketball. The point of basketball is to exploit. I got a 7-foot Serbian nobody in the league could stop. I got a 2 guard that's arguably the best 2 guard in the league that's playing out of position at point. And he's so good at it, he could give me a 30-piece like a shooting guard and drop off 10 dimes. And give me 10 boards. How's that not exciting? You watch 2 dudes in this era give you some Kobe and Shaq shit. We haven't seen any duo like that. Not no big and a little. Not no big and a wing. We haven't seen that. Steph didn't have no big with him. LeBron's never had a big until he had AD, but LeBron's 6'9", his damn self, so that don't count. I think, if you're anti just what the Denver Nuggets are, then your fault should be at the hands of the other teams that couldn't step up. The Lakers couldn't even get a game with y'all GOAT on the floor. Kevin Durant and D Book could only beat this team twice. The Boston Celtics took 3 games to figure out how to beat the Miami Heat and ran out of gas in Game 7. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Nigerian freak, only played 3 of the 5 games in the first round. So a lot of this stuff has nothing to do with Denver. They're the most healthy. They're the most healthiest team that's left standing, and they're just so happen to be the best team that's still standing. Boogie down. All right, he's trying to switch up now. He's trying to switch up now. We talked about this yesterday, Boogie Down. We missed you on this one. I was telling him, I was like, I know Boogie Down would have his own opinion once that came out. Josh Allen on the cover of Madden, but hasn't accomplished anything. All right, so we will get back to that at some point today, but right now we're definitely staying on Game 3. Scrub Zero, certainly better than watching LeBron settling for threes, driving to the rim, and watching all his teammates stand around. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I don't know how, if you really enjoy basketball, how can you not enjoy a team just deciding, yo, dogs, we're bigger and stronger and we're just going to beat you up? Meanwhile, the Heat tried. Just look at all these red X's. And this is what happens when you're the smaller team. Your shots get affected. These are a lot of misses, bruh. This is a lot of bunnies that got tricked off. A lot. So, for me, I don't see anything out of the ordinary. Maybe the Heat get Game 4 tomorrow night, maybe. But I genuinely think this thing should be over. What's Game 5? On Monday or something? Yeah, I think it'd be over Monday or Tuesday or whatever. So I think Nuggets in 5 is still the play here. I don't see anything that would tell me differently. Tyler Hero doesn't look like he's going to try to pull a Willis Reed. There's more and more, questions about him being even cleared to come back. So, yeah, I think this shit's a wrap, bro. I think straight up and down, like 12-30, this shit is done. All right, so let's see what we got here. So let's hear from Jokic. Right after a 30-20-10 triple dub on the road, Game 3 last night. Let me make sure my audio is straight. Yep, we good there. Jokic, he doesn't say much, so I haven't been pulling a lot of his post game because, he doesn't really talk a lot or doesn't like to talk a lot. So we let him get his Marshawn on. But last night, him being his true self out there in South Beach, he was talking his talk.
When you have a line that's never been accomplished before in finals history, what do you think of that?
To be honest, I just think it's a win, because if we lose, nobody's going to even mention. To be honest, I don't care. It's just a stat.
Okay, so he's talking his talk. I believe him when he says that. Other players, I don't really believe them. But when it comes to him, I actually do believe it. Skip Zero, no more updates on Tyler Hero. I only want to know when he's playing during the game. Yeah, that's facts, man. It's like they're trying to tease it like, oh, he could be the difference. Man, he's 6'6", 6'7". He can't guard Jokic or he can't guard Aaron Gordon or anything either. Jamal Murray after last night.
What he does he makes
On
it look so
Jokic.
easy. You know, he grabbed 21 boards, and everybody talking about he can't jump. And he's out there battling everybody. He's physical. He's strong. 30 points. People say he doesn't want to score. He gives you 32. And 10 assists. You know, so it's just.
Wait. All right. Hold up, Jamal. So people say he doesn't want to score. Who said that? Who's ever said that? I have never heard anyone say Nikola Jokic doesn't want to score. And let's go back to the first piece. Everyone's talking about how he can't jump. Well, he can't. You don't need to jump to grab boards. Like, he's 7 foot. He's 6'11", 7 foot. Like, the wingspan, like, you don't really need to jump. Especially when the tallest guy on the other squad and the most athletic guy is 6'9" Idris Adebayo. Like, what are you talking about? So, all right, I know he just wants to hype up his guy and all of that, but that's kind of a weird statement coming from Jamal Murray. It's like that has nothing to do with the other, but okay, whatever.
He can't jump. And he's out there battling everybody. He's physical. He's strong. 30 points. People say he doesn't want to score. He gives you 32. And 10 assists. You know, so it's just he just makes the game look easy throughout the game. And like I said, it's just free throwing. His touch, his creativity, his no-look passes, his IQ. I could go down the line.
Facts.
He's a special player.
That's facts. Everything he said is everything after the hyperbole nonsense is correct. You know, there's nothing he can't do. If you need him to lock somebody up, he can't do that. So we'll put that out there, right? But in regards to offensively, there's nothing he can't do. There's nothing he can't do. He can shoot it, he can facilitate, and he can dominate inside. And he's a footer, and he's got good touch from the outside. Where do you stop him? Where do you play him? How do you game plan against that? If you don't have the necessary size and wings to try to force him to move around and do other things, it's not happening. It's just clearly and plainly not happening. Nuggets in 5. I see Alexander's in the house. Scrub Zero, this is the first time I've heard of Joker not wanting to score. All we've been saying is to make Joker score first and the facilitator first. Yeah, I don't know where Jamal Murray is getting that from. I don't know what hot take show he watched where somebody might have gotten that off, but I have never heard anyone say that Nikola Jokic doesn't want to score. And I have never heard anyone saying, well, he can't grab boards because he can't jump. Like, saying everyone's talking about how he can't jump, that doesn't mean anything when you're already a footer. When you're already a footer, you don't need to jump. I don't remember Hakeem Olajuwon skying for that many rebounds. I don't remember Patrick Ewing jumping over people grabbing boards. When you're 6'11", 7 foot, you don't have to jump out of a gym to grab boards. They're talking about the fact that he can't, that he doesn't dunk a lot. So he doesn't show the athleticism for a guy of his size, right? But that doesn't matter. He's got the great hand-eye coordination with the way that he facilitates. He's got the good touch around the rim and from the outside. So none of that stuff that he's trying to say, like this whole narrative of, you know, no one believed in him. Well, yes, he was a second-round pick, 41st overall. Mention that. But don't give me stuff about, oh, he can't jump. People say he doesn't want to score. Like, that's just nonsense. But we'll move on. You got your man's Bruce Brown. Oh, first, let me get to Alexander. Alexander's in the house. Hello, Alexandra. Murray and Jokic looking unstoppable last night. Yeah, Kobe and Shaq. That's why I titled the stream the way I did. They looked like Kobe and Shaq. When you have an unstoppable two-guard, well, really a point guard, but he's not really a point guard, but a two-guard and a big man that can move around and do stuff, that's Kobe and Shaq. And this is Bruce Brown on the fact that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are a hard duo to stop.
Yeah, that duo is just almost impossible to stop. They can score whenever they want, when they're aggressive. They know each other's tendencies, where they like to get the ball, where they like to shoot. So, I mean, it's for any team, it's tough to stop them too. So the rest of the team, we just got to play off them.
And that's literally all they do. let Jokic and Murray, especially when both of them are going, all you need to do as a role player is just wait to get the rock. Because they're going to command so much attention once both of them are cooking. That's why both of them had 10 dimes. Both of them had 10 dimes because they're both going for easy 30 pieces. So now the defense collapses. You try to trap, you try to blitz, you try to get the ball out of their hands quickly, and that leaves other guys open. And this is from earlier today. Jamal Murray again talking about Nikola Jokic's dominance.
Redefine what dominance looks like at that big man position where he's not, maybe not the strongest, maybe not the fastest, but he's getting it done in a dominant way.
He's strong. He's strong. He's 7 foot. He's got amazing touch. IQ, passing. You know.
Why can't they just hold the phone steady? Why can't they just hold the phone steady? You got one job.
Just picking the spots when to go right away, when to wait for the double, when to put the ball on the floor, when to spin. So yeah, he's a tough cover down there. He's up there with the greats.
All right, so I don't know how much more the Heat can do. They have certainly tried to figure out what's good. They have tried to navigate, the understanding of, well, maybe it's a zone. Maybe it's, switching. Then once they got burned doing that, all right, well, maybe we'll play Jokic straight up in the paint. And then they got bully balled, not only by him, but anybody else who wanted to go into the paint last night. So now what do you do? And this is why I was asking, Spo got mad when Ramona Shelburne said the thing that all of us were thinking. And like, all right, well, they're trying to make Jokic go crazy with the points because worst come to worst, that's at least been a trend of negativity where he scores over 40. They've lost the last, 3 or 4 games. So, all right, well, let's let them just go crazy with points and try to lock up everybody else. But Spo try to act like we don't know what we're talking about and we don't know what we're seeing, saying we have untrained eyes. Well, Spo, you went back to double teaming last night because why? Your untrained eye saw that the double teams, even though you got burned by it in game 1, you tried to outsmart yourself by going back to a strategy that was clearly flawed in game 1. So was Spo's eye untrained last night when they went back to doubling? Like, you allowed Jokic to be singled up and he carved you up in game 2, but you still got a dub. Why didn't you rinse and repeat that? Because Ramona Shelburne said the thing out loud? The thing that all of us have been talking about? Come on. Everyone's pulling up with NFL stuff. I got Boogie Down pulling up with the Madden cover story with Josh Allen. And now we got Magic Man, who now switched the AV to Messi, letting us know that Frank Clark is a Bronco. Yeah, I saw that. I have it in the tabs. But, I mean, is it that really that big of a deal? Like, yes, he's not a Chief, but The NBA Finals is low-key boring. Man, you and Boogie Down are sharing a brain today on the stream, Magic Man. You and Boogie Down are sharing a brain. I think it's only boring because the Celtics tricked it off. This is not a good matchup. Is that boring? I mean, I guess, but I don't think seeing a dude go for, 30, 20, 10 and his teammate go for 30, 10, and 10, I don't see that being boring. They shot 50% from 3 between the two of them. They were perfect from the line, damn near. They shot about 55, 56% from the floor combined. They gave you 31 boards combined. They give you 64 points. 64 points, 66 points, 66 points combined. Like, I don't know what else you want these dudes to do. That's Miami's fault. That's Miami's fault. Y'all told me this was going to be rigged for Lakers Celtics. If it was rigged for Lakers Celtics, then why the hell do we have Denver about to get the Miami Heat up out of here in 5 games? So to me, it's just, Jokic is too damn good. Put some respect on his name. I know Boogie Down might not want to do that, even after last night, which is fine. But put some respect on that man's name. Put some respect on Jamal Murray's name. Right now, they're Kobe and Shaq. I said it. Magic Man Spo needs to do better. Better at what, though? If he don't got the horses, how are he supposed to win this race? Who's supposed to get more minutes? You want Haslam to get more run? You want 42-year-old Adonis Haslam to get more run? You think Haysmith, as a undersized big, a la PJ Tucker, can give you something? Like, who do you think they're supposed to bring? I thought Dwayne Dedman was on the roster. I thought, what you want to activate Dwayne? Let's make sure Dwayne Dedman's on the roster. Dwayne Dedman's not on the roster. Yet there's no other big. What big is there? I mean, you want to go Nikola Jovic? You want the answer to stop Jokic is Jovic? Like, what do you want Spo to do? He went back to the game one strategy last night, and he got the same result. So I don't know. He went back to doubling. He went back to the auto switching heavy. They blitzed on the pick and rolls. Like, I don't know what you want Spo to do. Look it down. Sorry, but these are just some boring teams. A 30-20-10. Whoever your favorite player is has never done that. If your favorite player would have done it, you'll be going crazy today. You'll want me to do a 3-hour stream just on that. I like Jokic, but again, instead of making it a sweep, they blew game 2. I mean, look, I think we all pretty much thought 4-5 games. If the Heat are lucky or Jimmy plays crazy, maybe they can push it to 6. But I mean, I don't think any of us saw this going long. Like the Celtics had the chance. The Celtics would have made this a series. I think. At least they would have had the size. Like they could have threw Time Lord at Jokic. They could have threw Al Horford at Jokic. Jaylen Brown could have spent some time on him. Like they had enough dudes. Marcus Smart would have definitely tried to act like he could guard Jokic. Like there's a lot of dudes on the Celtics that would have it would have given Mazzulla options. But then we would have had to deal with Mazzulla. So who knows? Mazzulla might have tricked this off worse than what Miami's doing right now. We might be roasting Tatum and Brown or roasting Mazzulla with the eyebrow arch in the post game. Like, I don't know, man. Boogie down. The fact that Jokic is supposedly the star out of these two teams is a joke. Yo, dogs. He's a 2-time MVP. He's giving you stats that have never been done before in the finals, man. Come on. And the boring star of all time, Dirk Nowitzki, was more exciting. Yeah, because he used to shoot the ball. He was a footer who had no inside presence. So he just had to keep shooting. So I could understand that point that Dirk was more exciting, but I don't think I've never seen a big man put up 30 and 20 and people call it boring. When Shaq did it, it was involving dunks. Okay, I'll pose it to Boogie Down, Magic Man, everyone else in the chat. If Tim Duncan was doing this, would you call it boring? If the big fundamental was giving you 30, 20, and 10, would it also be boring? Script Zero, I don't know if I would go Kobe and Shaq, but Murray Jokic is a great combination. I mean, you can't look at it in the traditional sense of Kobe and Shaq. Like Jamal Murray isn't dynamic like Kobe in the terms of the handles and the athleticism and being able to yam on people, right? Take that away. But in terms of effectiveness at his position and the ability to go off, Jamal Murray is up there. And they got the best big man in the league, like when Kobe and Shaq was the best big man in the league. You got the best big man in the league, and even if you want to be a Jamal Murray hater, he's no lower than third in his position. So to me, Kobe and Shaq, I got the best guard center combo in the league, and I'm about to win a chip, Kobe and Shaq. And they could be right back here next year. So if y'all think it's boring, buckle up, because they might run this shit back next year. You know, when the Suns are out here trying to see what's up with the beard, when, you know, old ass LeBron is trying to bring old ass point fraud, like the West ain't gonna get that much better. The window for the Warriors is closed, even though Steph wants them to run it back one more again. The window for the Nuggets to squeeze off, 2 chips, maybe 3, begins this year. They're going to get the chip this year. The West, to me, doesn't look like it's going to improve that much to where there's going to be another team willing and able to beat them. They might get 2 off. Next man, they're probably the best duo in the league. Scrub Zero, we think the Celtics will make it a series, but the late game execution would be getting exposed again. Yeah, Mazzulla, because he wouldn't even have Sam Cassell on the bench next to him. Just Denver's year. Yeah, the window's open for them. Jokic is young in his prime. Murray, now that he's fully rehabbed and he's probably not even still fully rehabbed. That's the crazy shit about it. Once he's fully rehabbed from the ACL tear, he's only going to get better. You know, maybe they figure something out with Michael Porter, whether it's flipping him since Christian Braun has shown he's ready for prime time. Maybe you flip Michael Porter for some additional pieces and then you let Braun slide in there. Certainly looking like destiny, and it's also looking like they're just the best team. They're the best team. Scrub Zero, Tim Duncan, most people would probably call it boring. I wouldn't, but that's just me. Okay, styles make fights, right? So those Spurs Pistons finals were horrible, right? Hard stop. Then you got the Spurs against Miami. I don't know if those finals were actually good, but with all the additional storylines, Kawhi locking LeBron, you know, Duncan getting older, trying to get chips off, like, you know, Tony Parker aging, Manu still hanging on. Like, there was a lot of storylines. Just don't have that now. You just have Jokic is him. Jamal Murray is reminding you he's him from the bubble. And there's nothing Miami could do about it. You saw my comment saying Jamal better than KD. Where was it? You said that today? Let's see. You said that today? I think you, if you're saying you said it in the past, I think I do remember that. Scrub Zero, I do miss Joe Mazzulla because his reaction to the post-game questions are fun to watch. Yeah, that's the only thing, because, you know, Mike Malone is trying to serious us to death. That's why I didn't even pull into Mike Malone. I saw some Mike Malone on the timeline. You know, yeah, he's too serious for me. And, you know, Spo is Spo. So, but you know what? I did not see Spo in no post-game. Spo ducking the smoke? Let's see if Spo was ducking the smoke. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. They want to see the point fraud with Wemby, with Wembanyama? Come on, man. I ain't even going to entertain that shit. Where is Spo? Jokic, Jamal Murray. I don't know what's going on with that. Not seeing. This is a lot. This is all from practice today. Jokic, hot take stuff. Yeah, I don't think Spo. I guess Spo didn't say anything worthwhile because they didn't pull no Spo. You got Jimmy and where's Spo at? Spo ducked that smoke. All right. I mean, I know he spoke, but I guess he didn't say anything worthwhile. All right. So that'll be the end of that. But yeah, man, I just, all the time it's KD, Pate, it's Jamal, and I'm not trolling. I see where you're going. I just can't co-sign today. I see where, I mean, clearly all time it's KD. But today you're taking Jamal Murray over Kevin Durant. My only question, I don't want to go into tearing down Jamal Murray, right? But here we are. If Jamal Murray didn't have Jokic and was like a Donovan Mitchell type where it was just him, Dolo, would we be able to say that? Like we're seeing Jamal Murray play with an elite big who's a better facilitator than he is, and he's out here dropping 10 dimes in, 3 straight games, right? He's had 10 assists in all 3 games, I believe. Yeah, he's had 10 assists in all 3 games. So, and he's playing with a big man that's a better passer than him. That's a better point guard than him. Okay? So, I mean, it's hard for me to say Jamal Murray, if he would have been put on a team to where it's just him, Dolo, I don't know if we will be able to say Jamal Murray is better than KD. I mean, they're both coming off ACLs. I don't know about that one. It's tough. I see where you're going. I think another year of this Jamal Murray, and then I'm right there with you probably. Because obviously KD's on the decline. So KD is on a decline, but he's coming from so high up that even on a decline, I still think he's higher than Jamal Murray. So I'll still give the edge to KD, but I like where your head is at. Pause. So let's see what else we got here. So and so is Jamal Murray. So yeah, I got you. Let's move to Beard versus the point fraud. So there's a lot going on. We'll start with the Shams tweet first. The Suns and the point fraud are exploring multiple options, including a trade, stretching his contract, or waiving and re-signing him in free agency. Okay. Phoenix is expected to discuss trades ahead of the point fraud's June 28th contract date. So how this contract works, and again, remember, this is the contract that he negotiated that he circumvented the CBA for, which only benefited him and this contract. This contract pays him $15 million up front, but it's not guaranteed. It's not fully guaranteed. So it's like that Brandon Marshall yelling match thing of like, all the contracts are not fully guaranteed. Leave it up to the former president of the NBPA to put himself in a position where probably his last big contract has some funny money written into it. But anyway, so it's $15 million up front, but it's not fully guaranteed because the team has an option, has a deadline of June 28th to fully guarantee the contract, or they have to outright move him. So that led to one piece, right? So that's the sign, okay? Now, Ramona Shelburne is saying to keep an eye on the Suns for James Harden. And, I think there's something there to it because, as this mentioned, ESPN Ramona Shelburne says keep your eye on James Harden to the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns don't waive Chris Paul point fraud unless they feel pretty good about somebody else. And I want you to keep an eye on James Harden. I don't want to report anything, but that was in the wind for the past month or so. I'll go even further, Ramona. That was in the wind the minute Kevin Durant went to Phoenix. So what was that, February? That was in the wind the minute he got to the desert. Because, of course, everyone saw the writing on the wall with the point fraud and how old he is and how ineffective he is and how injury-prone he is on the back half of his career. So clearly there was going to be a move at the point guard position. That's why people were talking about maybe Kyrie. If Kyrie soured on Dallas, he might just run it back with KD in Phoenix. But now it seems like him and LeBron are going to try to run that back, the little two-man game thing in LA with AD mixed in. Now it's looking like Phoenix can upgrade at the point guard position with one of Kevin Durant's mans, James Harden. So now this would be a new big three, and I think this would be the best big three of the Kevin Durant, James Harden relationship. If you could put Book with KD and James Harden, that's better than the Harden, KD, and Russ, and that's better than KD, Harden, and Kyrie. So I actually like this for Phoenix. The Frank Vogel piece would be interesting there because Frank Vogel has hung his hat on preaching defense. Good luck with an aging Kevin Durant, a beard that's never been focused on defense, and D Book, who at times doesn't always fully commit on defense. Good luck, Frank Vogel. Magic Man, but King, you agree Jamal is better than the point fraud all the time too. Oh, that's big facts. You don't even got that's not even a question. Like who's even wondering that? Like, yeah, nah, that's easy. That's a layup. If Harden joins the Suns, don't hype this up. I mean, I think you have to hype it up just because it's a big three. Even though I think this league now is all about duos rather than trios, it's three big names hooping together. And this is what KD likes. He likes everything to be AAU. He likes AAU style. I'm a hoop with the best hoopers. I did all I could as, primarily a one-man band in OKC. Yeah, I know Russ was there, but still. Ever since then, he's like, I'm never going back to that. I'm going to run with top-tier hoopers. And that's what he's done everywhere he's gone. He went to the Bay for a couple of years. He had Steph and Clay and the habitual nut hitter. He goes to Brooklyn. He has Kyrie, and then he's able to get the beard up in there. And then later, Ben Simmons, even though we know that flamed out. And then he goes to the desert and he runs with the point fraud Book and Ayton. Now he could get the point fraud potentially up out of there. They'll probably find a way to move on from Ayton, although maybe the whole Vogel-Ayton relationship could be better. Vogel's talked openly about wanting to, work with DeAndre Ayton, so maybe that appeases DeAndre Ayton's ego, although it's not just Monty Williams that had an issue with Ayton. It was others in that front office. But now with new ownership, maybe some of that ego gets swallowed. Magic Man's going to be disappointing. I mean, I think always understand I'm here for chaos. I'm here for chaos. It makes my brain work. If everything was easy and boring, if everything was like how y'all saying the NBA Finals, if everything was the NBA Finals, we wouldn't care about the NBA so much. We need the chaos to keep talking about this shit. That's what makes streams like this interactive and interesting. Is that, what if? If I'm saying the Nuggets window is the next 2 to 3 years, teams are going to have to deal with Murray and Jokic. How do you now combat Murray and Jokic? You can either do it by loading up with size to try to combat their size, or you can go crazy with the wings and try to go crazy like with having Book, the beard, and KD. Or Braun, the point fraud, or Kyrie, and AD. Like, that's what teams are going to have to figure out. Just like Brooklyn, the failures that KD is, and now Phoenix. All right. So where do you send Ayton? I got a funny one. But it depends on if someone who's been talking a lot lately is really with the shits or not. If it's smokescreen or not. Send his ass to Portland for that number 3 pick. It'll never happen. But like, you know, or, okay, how about this? Something that could legitimately work from a need standpoint. Send him to Toronto. Send him to Toronto, and that way you have depth and wing depth, especially if you go get someone like OG or Siakam. Send him to Toronto. What, they got the 10th pick? Let's see what pick they got. No, the 10th pick is Dallas, right? Let's see. We are back to Tankathon. The 13th pick, Toronto. Send Ayton and get back Siakam and the 13th pick. So you get Siakam and then you get potential depth because clearly Phoenix needs that, right? And first round picks are cheap. So you get Siakam, you can swap those contracts. Or if you want to do OG, I'm more higher on Siakam than OG, but you know, whatever floats your boat. But in regards to trying to get some depth, you have to move Ayton for some picks. If you're going to move Ayton, you have to move him for some picks. So to me, that's what I would do. But I'm not sure if that's the type of time Phoenix is on. I think you move him somewhere where you're not going to see him twice a year, more than twice a year. So that's the East. And you want to try to get back some picks. I mean, the Pacers been talking about Miles Turner for how long? I don't know if you want to swap a problem for a problem. Miles Turner is a guy that's a stat filler. At times, he's really good defensively. At times, he's a pretty good three-point shooter for a big. But I don't know how locked in he is. So that's the thing. Like, if you're Phoenix and you're going to go out there and get the beard, you need a rim runner. Who's going to be the rim runner? One does not currently exist on that roster. So you're either going to have to draft one or try to trade for one. But if you're going to trade for one, I would trade for a wing, a 3-and-D type guy, and then try to get one of these picks in the lottery or maybe just outside the lottery and try to go get a rim running big at that point. I'm no longer scared anymore on what team Kevin Durant is on. That's fair. He's a second option now. He's a second option on a championship team. Yep, I know about Dalvin Cook. Yep, they finally got him up out of there. For some reason, I've been trying to tell you this message and it keeps getting blocked. What, the Dalvin Cook one? I'm not sure why. Damon Ayton dying to play? You don't think so? I mean, if you, again, it would never happen, right? Because I think they're in the same division, right? So you would never do that. Just like the Knicks would never be able to get Joel Embiid from the 76ers, but it doesn't stop the blue check boys from talking about it, right? Or speculating about it, right? So why not speculate an interdivision trade of, Portland and Phoenix? So if you're trying to build around Dame, he said he wants a wing. Sure. I think between Shaedon Sharpe and Anthony Simons, those two dudes are pretty good to where they might not be your prototypical wings. And you have Cam Reddish. Like, I think there's enough wings and two guards there that you don't necessarily need a top tier wing. Really? All right. I'll check to see if that's something. I mean, I got some blocked words, but I don't see how that name spelled correctly would be on one of those names, would be on that list. But I'll check. Okay. I'll make a note of that. Let me write that down. All right, cool. Good looks on that. I'll check that after the stream. So I think if you're Phoenix, remember Phoenix got these picks, man. Phoenix could. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It's a lot. I think DeAndre Ayton, if you're gonna trade him, you trade him to the East. I think you trade him to Toronto. You try to get that 13th pick if you can. The Bulls are still foolishly they lost that pick, right? That's Orlando. But yeah, I mean, a certain number of words have been an issue to type and get in through. Really? Okay, maybe I got to revise my list. I took a list from one of these YouTuber dudes that had this list because he was getting flamed with a lot of craziness, and I was like, okay, I don't want to have to deal with that. So I took his list and basically just copied and pasted. So maybe there's some words on there that really shouldn't be on there. Okay, good look for that. I will examine that list more thoroughly and see if there's anything that's silly. Because I have had to ban people saying some wild shit on here who just randomly pull up. So I got that list and just copied and pasted. And I did notice there was a lot of people that weren't able to pull up and just spam the chat. So, okay, maybe there's some words that should not be on there. I'll check that. All right. So since we've got some NFL stuff, let's just go ahead and tap right into it. Your man's dove. This is something that's interesting to me, maybe not to y'all per se. The College Football Players Association is arranging a boycott of the upcoming EA Sports college football game after only offering $500 to each player. Players will also not be paid royalties on the game sale. Now, there's a lot of nameless dudes that's going to be getting bread for no reason. Well, let me slow down. Let me not shade them. There's going to be players that aren't worth it that's going to be getting paid $500. That's fine. I'm cool with that. Now, players will not be paid royalties. I mean, you got my face on the cover, dog. If I'm Bryce Young, I don't get no royalties when my damn face is on the game. Is this really the cover? Because if this is really the cover, I'm Bryce Young. I don't get nothing for this. Like, you can't give me $500 and you got one. It's not like you got one pick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks of me on the cover, and you only giving me $500? Nah, dogs, you're gonna have to cut me a real check, bruh. A real check. Are they only using Bryce Young because he signed with an agent and he's in the league now? He signed an NFL contract. Is that the reason why they're able to get around it? He might not even get the $500. Well, his name will be in the game, right? So I guess he'll get the $500 off of that. But yo, that is funny money right there, boy. Yeah, he been funny money for years. No, that's facts. That's facts. That's crazy to me, bro. And man, it's make or break for them, but it's going to be bad. You think the game's going to be bad? I mean, if it's the gameplay like Madden, but just college, I mean, how bad that, like, it's not going to be great, but bad? I don't know about bad. But that was something I saw, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. All right, let's see what else we got. Russell Wilson lost significant weight since last season. He's lean and mean. I mean, I don't think that means anything. The Broncos still aren't going anywhere, but sure. Broncos signed Frank Clark, as Magic Man brought up. 1-year deal worth $7.5, $5.5 million guaranteed base salary. Like, I think that's an okay signing, but again, like, I mean, the D-line runs through Chris Jones in Kansas City, so, you know. And, the Broncos haven't really replaced Chubb, right? Like, after they traded Chubb, they really didn't have anyone there to replace him, right? Let's see what else we got. Man, they're going crazy about this. How come I don't think I'm sleeping on it, but it's just kind of like, all right. Edge rusher. If I have to choose, give me Chris Jones over Frank Clark all day. Bryce Young led the team's first string for the first time on Thursday. I firmly expect him to be like, the number one starter. Like, there's no real reason for him not to be. This is a clip that's gone viral. Your man's Gibbs cooking a veteran linebacker, Maben. Oof. Yikes. The separation, though, dog. The separation. Ha ha. Quick. All right. So let's see. And then, of course, the Vikings are cutting Dalvin Cook. Okay, so here's something we've been kind of hinting at with all the QB stuff when we've talked about Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, this, that, and the other. Dak Prescott. On paper, his contract looks like Daniel Jones, even though it's not. But on paper, 4 years, 160. Daniel Jones, 4 years, 160. Dak has an almost $60 million cap hit in 2024, and Dallas needs to give him an extension or they'll be severely handicapped by that figure next season. Got to get the deal done now because the longer they wait, the more costly it will be. Now, I don't think nothing will happen of it outside of them just moving the money around and making sure he gets his bread. But if you're Dak Prescott, you're the quarterback of allegedly America's team. Yes, you're not Mahomes. You're not Burrow. You're not Josh Allen. You're not Lamar. Well, okay, I'll stop it. Is Dak Prescott top 10? Because he's got a Daniel Jones type contract numbers-wise. And if I'm top 10, Daniel Jones should never be in my neighborhood in terms of contract. Scrap Zero ain't no more worried about no Ciara Wilson. Oh, no, that's facts. I mean, they have to be in Denver. Smith and Jigba getting off the line against Witherspoon. Cooked them. Man, that Witherspoon pick, if it don't work, they're going to rue today. They're going to rue today. They took that man, what was he, 6th overall? And the man got took at, what, 20th? Dak isn't no top 10. Okay. All right. You know what that means. You know what that means. All right, let's see. More passing. Okay. Mahomes, Herbert, Burrow, Josh Allen. That's 4. Jalen Hurts. That's 5. Aaron Rodgers. That's 6. We saying Trevor Lawrence better than Dak already? Tua? We saying Tua better than Dak already? Russell Wilson, Derek Carr, Daniel Jones? Deshaun Watson, Lamar. Deshaun Watson, Lamar. Okay, so that's 7. That's 7. Who else you got? We putting Justin Fields in there already? Geno? Like, I think Dak's top 10, dog. I think Dak's top 10, man. I think Dak is top 10, bro. He may not exude it. He doesn't flash. He doesn't jump off the screen. But when we're looking at these other dudes, bro, all right, let's count them off. Mahomes 1, Herbert 2, Burrow 3, Josh Allen 4. I'm not putting Geno over Dak. To me, I'm not putting Trevor Lawrence over Dak. Jalen Hurts 5, Aaron Rodgers 6. I'm not putting Tua over Dak. I'm not putting Russell Wilson over Dak. I'm not putting Kyler Murray over Dak. I'll put Lamar over Dak. I'll put Deshaun Watson over Dak. That's 8. That means he's the 9th best quarterback. Unless you got somebody else. You're going to put Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. You're going to put Geno or Trevor Lawrence. Even if I give you Trevor Lawrence, that means Dak is 10th. Yo, Magic, yo, dogs, you can't be serious. Matthew Stafford? Come on, dogs. Yeah, definitely trolling, bro. Definitely trolling. Dak's one of those guys. I think, he can't be no higher than 8th. But I can't put him no lower than like 11th or 12th at the most. But I think he's right there in that 9-10 range. Yo, you really gonna give me ring talk, dogs? Matthew Stafford has a ring. Okay, yeah. He had Cooper Kupp. He had McVay. He had Aaron Donald on the other side causing havoc with Jalen Ramsey. Like, that was a stacked team too, dogs. Like, the Rams were a stacked team too. You give the Dallas Cowboys Aaron Donald, and they're probably in a Super Bowl or 2 or 3. Aaron Donald is him. Okay, I mean, I don't have Matthew Stafford over Dak Prescott. I watched too much of Matthew Stafford with the Lions. Yeah, I know Matthew Stafford being a former Bear fan. Nope, not doing it. I mean, we can pick apart Dak. Dak is not, a dude that we can't slander. We could certainly slander Dak. Dak's not perfect. But if we're going to do that, then we damn sure better make sure we pull up the same receipts for Matthew Stafford prior to the Rams. It was just a bunch of empty stats, empty calories in Detroit. I agree, Scrub Zero. It's a passenger. Yes, the Cowboys haven't made a Super Bowl. Yes, because the defense has always been mid. The defense has never been good when Dax has had these stacked offenses. And stacked is not the strongest term. I wish Corey was here. Corey's the Cowboy guy. He can run it to you up and down. The Niners own Dak just like they own Rodgers. Okay, I mean, if you're just a 49er guy, then that's cool. Like, they should. The 49ers should. They should own them. They have a better roster. Yes, because you're Matt Stafford, just a guy at this point. I think he's been just a guy his whole career from my POV. I don't hate Dak. I think he's good, but I don't think he's top 10. It's just the last part to me. It's the last part. Like, you can't name 10 better. That are unbiased. You can't name 10 better. He's not an elite QB and doesn't deserve the money he's getting. Well, I'm not going to co-sign the money part. He's not an elite QB. You don't have to be elite to be top 10. There's 32 quarterbacks. I'm asking you to be in the top, 25 percentile? Like, I'm just asking you to be in the upper quarter of the league. The upper third. I'm asking you to be in the top third of the league by being top 10 if there's 32 quarterbacks. There's 32 starting quarterbacks. You don't have to be elite to be in the upper third. There's a lot of Cowboy fans that don't like Dak. Yeah, Corey's one of them. That's what I'm saying. But even he will tell you, he might put Trevor Lawrence, maybe, but he's in the top 10. And he's more of a Cowboy hater than a Cowboy fan at this point. That's also Fetch Zero. You don't need to be elite to get a bag either. Yeah. Real talk. And I don't want to head down this road, but fuck it, we here now. Y'all think Jalen Hurts is elite? Off 1.5 years, we're already saying he's elite. He's got a lot of good talent around him. Y'all really definitively ready to put your foot down and say he's elite? I'm just saying. Cowboys haven't made the conference finals in nearly 30 years, and that one changed, and yes, it was amazing in the postseason. Well, look, if we really want to get into the Dallas Cowboy failures, we could do that, and there's plenty of them, and they have tricked off a lot of good rosters, more so offensive than defensive, but yes. But these all also have had suspect coaching. I think the coaching has been the biggest deterrent, the lack of a defense or the lack of a real defensive identity that could be successful in the playoffs. They've had the cover two for a while. The cover two is one of the worst defenses you could ever run, unless you have Hall of Famers at every level, like Tampa had. The cover two is not a good defense to run. So they've been running that when they had Marinelli as the DC. They had Jason Garrett as the head coach. Yes, the Cowboys are always going to be a story. Yes, they're going to be a popular franchise just because of their history and all of that. But they haven't had a real Super Bowl winning, a Super Bowl contending team since the last time they won a Super Bowl, in my opinion. So that means to me, you can't kill Dak because they really haven't had the roster worthy enough, in my opinion. They've had some chances, for sure. Things have broken their way. Dez did catch that ball, but it didn't go their way. I agree, Scoop Zero. I agree. After 1 year for Hurts, no, he's improving and he's good. I need to see another year or two of him playing like this. And that's what I'm saying. And he got an elite label put on him, and he got an elite bag on top of it. But we just ran down that top 10. I had him being better than Dak, but I don't know where I'm putting him in the rest of these dudes. Mahomes better. Herbert's done it longer, so I'll give Herbert seniority. Burrow to me is better. Josh Allen is a weird one, but he's done it for longer, so I'll say he's better. That's already 4 dudes. So then we go to, I'll still put Aaron Rodgers up there. So Jalen Hurts ain't even top 5. Then you have a bunch of guys. Then we got Lamar. Then we got Deshaun Watson. They've done it for longer. I'm putting them ahead of Jalen Hurts. So that's 7. Jalen Hurts might just barely edge out Dak for that 7 spot, with Dak taking the 8 spot. But Jalen Hurts got a top two quarterback contract in the league. Second highest quarterback contract in the league per average. Even though by that metric, he's like 7th or 8th at his position. I mean, I'm not putting that loss on Dak. I'm putting that loss on the coaching staff, to be quite honest with you. I'm putting that loss on the coaching staff. Yeah, I'm not putting that on Dak. Dak wasn't great in that game. He was scared to run. He should have run more. But we can see that for the majority of his career. The majority of his career, he should be running more. But that he's tentative when it comes to running. Because he doesn't want to get hurt. Because he's been hurt. Oh, yeah, we saw that one. I don't blame Dak for the Packers' loss in 2016. And I defended Dak when everyone was harsh on him from last year's playoffs. He didn't play well. He was a key reason why they lost. But the Cowboys needed other guys to make a difference against the 49ers, and they didn't. I mean, they had Zeke lined up at center. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, but I mean, we know that offense, like, dog, that was Brock Purdy, man. That was Brock Purdy. A lot of caping for Dak in the chat. A lot of caping now. I mean, look, I think last year's game came down to the fact that Dak was scared to run. And maybe he was scared to run for good reason. I've never had a Bosa chasing me. I've never had a Fred Warner chasing me. Scrap Zero, but if the Cowboys are this team everyone says they are, they need to create one of those game-breaking turnovers to make things break even. Yeah, they got Diggs, Parsons. They got all these guys that are exciting individually. It can make plays, but sometimes you need your defense to just win a game. Whether it's through turnovers, whether it's through, limiting scoring opportunities, so on and so forth. Sometimes you just need that, and they did not get that. AB pulling up. What up, AB? Hurts has better weapons than Dak. Now he does. Yeah, last year for sure. I think Hurts' first year, I don't know if that was true. Last year, yes. Because he had A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders. Yes. But that first year with Hurts, I don't know. When it was just Devonta Smith, I don't know about that. And here's the most important part. The coaching in Dallas has been trash for it's been trash ever since Jimmy Johnson left. And that's been by design. Like Jerry Jones, well, I guess you could give Parcells, you could give him, Parcells wasn't Parcells back then, that last go around, but outside of the Parcells hire, he has hired people he know he could run. That's by design. Once Jimmy skated on him, he said, never again. I'm never going to have an ego battle with someone who can claim credit. I'm going to be the one to get this team back to glory. And they haven't sniffed that shit since. Yo, Magic Man, if you're caping for Brock Purdy like that without bringing up the roster difference and the coaching difference, then I don't know what's going on, bro. Yes, Hurts made it to a Super Bowl with a team with, if you would have given Dak the type of weapons, that same roster, I think Dak can make it to the Super Bowl as well. Like, that's why I'm questioning if Hurts is elite. And I think it's a fair question to say that. What about Jalen Hurts makes him elite? That Philly offense has been stacked. They've made his job really easy. It's no shade to him. He still has to step in and perform and make the throws. But I don't think it takes an elite QB to get that team to a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy had a team around him in all phases. I'm not giving him all the credit for the 49ers getting to the championship game. He was a cog in the system. Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Come on, man. Come on, man. Yeah, the coaches were definitely trash, man. The coaches were definitely a problem. It always have been, always will be, and that's how Jerry wants it. Yeah, I was hoping he wasn't trying to bring up Nick in this conversation, who's made his whole career just off saying, I think LeBron's better than Jordan. I don't want to hear no takes from that guy. That guy is a Chiefs fan. All right, you take Hurts, Lamar, Herbert, Burrow. That's 4. Allen, 5. Stafford, 6. I don't agree with that. Mahomes, 7. Aaron Rodgers, 8. Trevor Lawrence, 9. Okay, so then you got Dak at 10. I would not have said that. If Dak made it to a Super Bowl or a conference finals, we would have said Dak had an elite squad. I would have never said that about a Dallas Cowboy team. Not me. Maybe other people would have, but not me. And then that's where you'll see Magic Man, as we get into NFL. I don't hold no punches in NFL. I mean, you should know how I give it up now just off the NBA shit, but I'm even more hardcore when it comes to NFL. Let's see, what was that year they made it to the playoffs? What was that year? Second round. What was that, 2016? That was the Dez year, right? Yeah, that was first round. All right, so he made it to the second round. Yeah, so he hasn't made it to a conference championship yet. It made it to a second round. I mean, look, it is what it is with Dak. Like, Dak's not the guy like that. Like, he never was. I don't think he was never believed to be elite. But, like, I think he's good enough to be doing what he's been doing. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, I don't think he's not a failure. He's not a disappointment. It's a 4th round QB. Like, nothing was that highly expected of him anyway. But if we look at his career, go to QBR. QBR is quite the roller coaster. And the QB rating is surprisingly very well. 90 is like average for a starter, right? So 104, 99, 99. This is 100. We round up. And even this is 100. So 3 years of 100. 97? I don't know, man. Hurts is upcoming. I can't see elite just yet for maybe. Yeah. I mean, I think really, if you're really trying to go and analyze how many elite QBs there are, I think it's Mahomes. I'll still put Aaron Rodgers up there for now. Because of what he's done on the field with no help, I'll put Lamar in there. That's 3. I don't know if there's anybody else that I would consider elite. I think that's it. I'm not calling Burrow elite yet because he's had Jamar Chase. Not calling Josh Allen elite. Tua's not elite. Trevor Lawrence is not elite. Deshaun Watson, before all the nonsense, was up and coming to maybe become elite, but I need to see way more. Yeah, I think Mahomes, Lamar, Aaron Rodgers. Those are the only ones that are elite to me. So anybody else, they're just riding the coattails and collecting bags. Hopping around in the chat. Allen is elite. To me, he's not. He wasn't elite before Stephon Diggs got there. He was not elite. So nope. He could look elite on the cover of Madden, but he's not elite to me. I mean, there's too big of a jump between Stephon Diggs becoming a Buffalo Bill and Josh Allen becoming MVP level for me to say he's elite. I've been running this into the ground, but I'm going to keep bringing it up. Look at that percentage, bro. I mean, he jumped 11 percentage points in completion percentage. Without Stephon Diggs? With Stephon Diggs. Come on, man. And even before Stephon Diggs, they had a good record. Okay, so this is with him stumbling around, fumbling the ball forward in the playoff games and shit like that. This is with him doing that. They give him a top flight, top tier, top 5, he would say higher, but at bare minimum, top 5 wide receiver, and look at the jump. 20 TDs to 37. 3,100 passing yards to 45. 59% completion percentage to 69% completion percent. Like, come on, man. No. Josh Allen to me is not elite. He's elite because he's got a top tier receiver, and every quarterback worth a damn. If you're not top tier, if you're not Lamar out here doing it with just you and Mark Andrews, or Mahomes with you and Kelsey, or Aaron Rodgers with you and Devonta Adams, yeah, you need help. AB, yeah, he's not. I mean, I agree. He's not. He's not elite. What does Lamar has to prove? Trash narrative. Lamar has nothing to prove. If anything, this whole contract nonsense proves he has nothing to prove. Because they rolled out the red carpet. They gave him the bag. Maybe not the bag he fully deserved, but still the bag. And they upgraded at every spot imaginable to appease him. What does he have to prove? AB Lamar is elite. Lamar ain't elite when he hasn't thrown for 3,500 yards in a year. Okay. So your man's Josh Allen here barely cracked 3,100 when he didn't have a number 1 wide receiver. He gets a number 1 wide receiver. Everything is 4,000 plus, right? When has Lamar Jackson had a top tier number 1 wide receiver? Oh, that's right. He hasn't. Okay. He was putting up 3,400 yards with just Mark Andrews. Okay. Stop it. Come on, man. Improve what? This is him without Diggs. This is him with Diggs. He improved by, holy shit, this guy's open. That was the improvement. And he still fumbles and throws picks all the time. So where's the improvement? What was the stat I had like a week or so ago? Where Josh Allen, these 3 years, okay? Because, you know, sometimes people like to get funny with these years by design with these stats. It was these 3 years with Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen still has the most turnovers in the fourth quarter in one-score games. So he's still careless with the rock. And it was something like 36. It was a big number. And the person that was second, it was a big gap. So you're telling me he's improved. The only improvement is he's got Stephon Diggs. When he's still fumbling and throwing picks in tightly contested games. That's not improvement. The improvement is, holy shit, this guy can get wide open. Holy shit, his catch radius is crazy. Just keep throwing it up to him. That's the improvement. Mahomes had Kelsey and Hill, and A-Rod can never go over the edge. All right, so then he didn't have Hill last year. What happened? Script 0 only got Mahomes and Jackson as a lead, maybe Burrow, but he's had Chase. Rodgers is on the decline. Allen has too many turnovers. Everyone else is unproven. And D4, as in Deshaun Watson, is short on time played. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. AB, put Lamar with Buffalo, fam. He is going to the Super Bowl. It's possible. It's possible. I would just love, that's why I think this season is really going to prove a lot of people either right or wrong about Lamar. Greg Roman's gone. That's another huge factor. You're talking about 3,500 yards, and Lamar hasn't done that. That's also in part because of Greg Roman. Greg Roman's gone. Monken has already said this is going to be a balanced offense. That means throwing and passing. Everything that the Ravens have done in this offseason, including the draft, has been let's finally give Lamar some help. Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham, they've given him pieces. Isaiah Likely is going to be used a lot because Monken likes 2 tight end sets. So there's a lot there. Still got Mark Andrews, still got J.K. Dobbins. The O-line is still good. Lamar said, I want to throw for 6,000 yards. He's going to have to do it. He's going to have the chance to do it because he's got weapons now. What are we doing here? If we're really trying to do the whole comparison thing of playoffs, again, let's really crunch the numbers, right? This is without Stephon Diggs, okay? So if you want to continue to do this, this was without Stephon Diggs. All of this is with Stephon Diggs. Funny how that works. All these big numbers in the postseason when he has a true number 1 wide receiver. The 1 year prior when he didn't, mediocre numbers. Funny how that works. Come on, man. Stop it. Yeah, I mean, but if you're tight end, unless you have Kelsey, if your tight end is your best receiving option, it's a problem. Only Mahomes, and it takes a QB like Mahomes to make that happen to where I don't even need a Tyreek Hill anymore. I'm winning rings with Juju Smith-Schuster as a wide receiver threat. Come on, dogs. And we also have to take into account the rushing yards. All these QBs are dual threats now. So we can't just only look at passing yards now when the running game has become prevalent to every QB that matters. If you defend Dak and hate on Allen, I'm sorry. That can't be directed at me. Because it's not defending Dak. I put Josh Allen over Dak. So I don't know who that's directed to. Let's see. I mean, well, the stat is what it is. It's Josh Allen by a lot, Magic Man. So, yeah, Dak might be on that list too. But you know who's number one by a lot? It's your man's Josh Allen. So, it is what it is. Your man's Josh Allen is committing turnovers at the most worst pivotal points in the game. Fourth quarter and one-score games, he has the most turnovers during the 3 years when he's had a bona fide number one top 5 wide receiver. I mean, if you think Josh Allen is elite, that's your opinion. You can think that. That's not a problem. That just doesn't mean I have to agree with that. Okay, so we're gonna play that game. So we're gonna pick isolated games, right? So I'm assuming you mean that was the Cincinnati game? Which game is that you're saying you had 7-0 in the Chiefs game? Also, that's a couple of years ago. So we're going a couple of years ago with this now. So we're going that far back. Okay. We're going that far back. You're talking about the game where, what was it, McKenzie or Gabe Davis went crazy? Talking about that game? I wonder why they were able to go crazy. I just wonder why. So you're talking about this game, right? You're talking about this game here. Right. And I wonder why Gabe Davis was able to be open for 8 catches on 10 targets for 200 yards. I just wonder how. Someone like Gabe Davis, how come people weren't paying attention to Gabe Davis? Or maybe because there was a goddamn number one wide receiver on the field called Stephon Diggs. You take what's given to you. They killed him with Gabe Davis because they had bracket coverage on Stephon Diggs. See, again, I don't do that fan stuff. Again, you recently just are getting to know me here. I don't do that Lamar fan stuff. I don't do that. So AB knows me. Scrub has gotten to know me. I don't do that fan stuff. I just call it what it is. I'm an analyst. I am not a fan. If Allen had gotten outplayed by Jimmy G, we would never hear the end of it by you. Again, I don't think you don't understand my raps yet. I'm not that type. I'm not reactionary. I'm not a hot taker. I really break down film, dogs. Like, yeah. Maybe you had me confused with other types. Like, I'm not people that just yell into cameras and phones and get shit off. Like, that's not what I do. Like I does this. I do film study. Like I does this. I'm on ESPN radio every week. I does this. Like what am I cherry picking? You picked one ancillary game where Stephon Diggs had 3 receptions for 7 yards, and you're telling me to stop cherry picking? Magic Man, come on now. Come on now. We here. But you can't tell me to stop cherry picking when I'm giving you people's whole stat lines for playoff runs, and your retort to me is Stephon Diggs' worst game as a Bill in the playoffs. But you're telling me to stop cherry picking when I'm giving you years of stats of Josh Allen and how all of his stats drastically improved once he got Stephon Diggs? Yet you go and choose the worst game Stephon Diggs has ever had in the playoffs? And you're telling me to stop cherry picking? Come on, man. Come on now. Yes, but what does age have to do with it? I don't understand the point about age here. We're propping up these QBs younger and younger and younger. I don't understand the points you're making right now. So your point is that Aaron Rodgers and Dak got outplayed by Jimmy G, and that's supposed to mean what to me? Because they got outplayed by Jimmy G on a team that was more stacked means what to me? I mean, we here. AB knows that we here. Scrub Zero knows we here. Okay, all good. Salute. You, AB, you already know. No worries, Magic Man. We good. That's what I'm saying. Like we normally here, even if we don't agree, we always here. So that's what I'm like. All right, bro. Let's get this figured out. Yeah, like I think when it comes down to it, straight up, Magic Man is like this for me, and that's all I ever speak for is for me. If we're I judge over a longer, bigger sample size, right? Yes, we can pinpoint, and it's not even to the cherry picking comment because people do that. It's a real thing. But like Corey, for instance, Corey comes into the chat. He hates Lamar, right? He'll throw every negative stat in the world to me about Lamar. But the QBs that he'll put up against Lamar are QBs like Josh Allen, like Joe Burrow. And I'm like, and Justin Herbert. And I'm like, well, you can't compare QBs that have walked into situations where either they didn't have help and gotten it late or later, like Josh Allen, or they walked into ready-made situations. Joe Burrow hasn't lived life without Jamar Chase. Then you add in Tyler Boyd. Then you add in T. Higgins. Then you add in Joe Mixon, Samaje P. Ryan. You add in all these. He has known nothing but weapons. Josh Allen had a couple of lean years, then was gifted Stephon Diggs. Justin Herbert walks into Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, off rip. They were giving old-ass Sammy Watkins to Lamar. There's a difference. So while we can critique Lamar. We can criticize some of his throws. We can criticize some of his choices, decision making, whatever you want to call it, and that's fair. But when it comes to better, I take into, well, what does this player have to work with? And to me, Lamar having to do what he's been able to do with so little puts him on a different level to me than a Herbert who walked into a fully loaded offense, to better than, the Bengals with Burrow, who was able to go get the team to draft his mans, and Jamar Chase, and oh, by the way, here's Tyler Boyd. Oh, by the way, we unearthed T. Higgins. And there's a Joe Mixon back there. And, up until this past offseason, they had a Samaj P. Ryan back there. And they got Josh Allen, who was running around, and there were rumors, and not just rumors, there was some real talk about him being maybe a bust because of how he looked, especially that second year, the year before Stephon Diggs got there. That's why they went and got Stephon Diggs. So to me, it's like, it can't just be so cut and dry. We can nitpick any QB. Every QB that's in the Hall of Fame has had a shitty performance, or 2 or 3 or 20. But you got to take the whole sample size. You got to compare what talent they worked with, so on and so forth. At least that's how I have always, decided to look at things. Everyone else doesn't have to, it's all good. But Josh Allen's not going to disappear. He's got Stephon Diggs. That's the whole point, man. He's got Stephon Diggs. Unless Diggs gets hurt. If Diggs gets hurt, they lost McKenzie. They still got Gabe Davis. They drafted Kincaid. This is supposed to be a step-up year for Josh Allen. He's supposed to step up even more. They need him to step up even more, because they still aren't going to focus on the run. They're still going to be very limited on what they could do outside. Josh Allen is the running game. Low key, they're doing a lot of Lamar shit with him. You ain't hear that from me, though. But for now, just one playoff game where his team was plagued by injuries doesn't make him a choker. Who called him a choker? I called Josh Allen a choker? I don't recall that. I just don't have him as elite. That's where all this started. I just don't have him as elite. It's going to take, in my viewpoint, it's going to take a lot for him to ascend to elite. I'll keep it a buck with you, because the offense isn't that sophisticated, and I don't think he has that Lamar in him to where he could be a one-man gang, and it's going to be hard for him to be a one-man gang when you got Stephon goddamn Diggs. He's in a privileged situation. It's great. It's great. He would have never been on the cover of Madden the way he looked that year before Stephon Diggs got there, where he was fumbling the ball forward in playoff games where nobody was touching him. Would have never been on the cover of Madden. Scripts here, the third year for Josh Allen reads skewered the perception of what an elite QB is and expectations for young QBs. Yeah, they were saying Josh Allen's going to be the MVP of the league. Like, it's very much like what the NBA does with Luka. But at least Luka is doing it by himself. So that's kind of what it is to me. It's like, all right, well, yeah, Josh Allen has the skill set. He's got a rocket arm. He's a tough motherfucker to bring down and all of that. Like, he's that dude. But in terms of doing it by himself, he tried that. And they were 10-6. But he was a turnover machine. He was missing dudes wide open in the end zone. There was a lot of things going on. You see the QBR. You see the rating. I told you, and again, this is purely just how I break stuff down off of studying a lot of numbers and stats and breaking down film and shit. A good starting quarterback has at least a 90 QB rating. QBR, you're in that high 60s to low 70s to be a good quarterback with a good QBR, in my opinion. As much as that TD to interception ratio is 20-9 and it looks good, and the completion percentage, although in today's NFL, you should be bare minimum 60%. So he was roughly close to that, but technically he was not even at 60% completion percentage. And the QB rating is below what I feel is a good number for your prototype quarterback. That's considered to be a good quarterback. Now there's anomalies and so on and so forth, but we watched, look at the yards per game, dog. Wasn't even throwing for 200 yards a game. He gets Stephon Diggs and he's cracking 280. And you see the QBR since then, it's a 49 QBR. 85 QB rating to over 100. I don't know, man. He'll always be that litmus test, especially when it's him versus Lamar and all that type of stuff. He's always going to be that, but. So Scrub Zero, Sean McDermott better start using them running backs to help Allen out. The problem is I don't think he will. I don't see it. AB Allen's just a good QB, not elite. Yeah, I mean I would even go to say, see, it's tough to even say great because he's great as long as he's got Stephon Diggs. So yeah, I guess without Stephon Diggs, I guess he is just good. Okay, all right, I'll fall back. Scrub Zero, didn't we have a similar type conversation to this the other day with KD? That's facts, though. We did. And it's kind of hard to measure it. Because even that conversation, I came away with trying to, after the stream sometimes, I'll, try to figure out, okay, well, what topic really hit? What stuff should I research the next time this topic comes up? Stuff like that. And the KD one was one I was like, you know what? We're probably going to have to spin the block on that at some point. I assume maybe in the summer or maybe, after free agency, once all the dust settles. I'm like, we're probably going to have to spin the block on that. But no, that's real. It's really hard to decipher players' greatnesses because you have to take it on a case-by-case, team-by-team basis. You have to question how someone was used, what options someone was, the priority they were, where they're at in their career. There's a lot of variables. And I know this just from really trying to analyze this shit. It's a lot of stuff in analyzing, in trying to do sports analyzing, whether it's one sport or all sports or whatever, because there's so many variables in it. I was on ESPN Radio on yesterday, and we were trying to navigate, in terms of what can the Miami Heat do to try to stop Jokic or to slow him down. And my answer was nothing. And I'm like, I know that doesn't sound like great analysis, but trust me, I have sat here and thought about it and tried to figure it out. And I know Scrub Zero was in here yesterday. Remember, I was saying, look for the double screens. Look for the double screens to try to thwart, the Heat trying to always allow a small to be guarded by Jokic. And what the fuck happened last night? It wasn't straight double screens, but it was a staggered double screen. I'm not saying that to toot my own horn or to pat myself on the back, but there's only so much shit you can do. But that's the shit you pick up when you're analyzing and studying and all of that type of shit. So it is what it is. I'll hit the chat. I don't want to get too much on the soapbox. Yeah, all this started with Dak Prescott. See, Dak ain't even worth all this. To be honest, Doc is good, and he's probably a top 10. Maybe I was being harsh. I mean, look, I think, see, here's the thing, Magic Man. All this shit is subjective, bro. All this shit is subjective. All this shit is subjective. I mean, I have had really smart people who I trust, whose opinions I trust, who I know put in the work and study shit. And sometimes they'll tell me stuff and I'll be like, I can't roll with that. I can't co-sign it. And they'll walk me through it and I'm like, word, I know you did the work. I know you did the science. But to me, I can't co-sign. Sometimes it's like that. So I don't know if you were being just harsh. I just think, I think he's top 10. And it's not even because he's that nice. It's just because there's not a lot of good quarterbacks. There's just not. We went through the breakdown of the leaders. There's not a lot of good quarterbacks. That's the real thing about it, Magic Man. Like, it's not even about, oh, well, this guy clearly is top 10. Well, it's like, well, not really. But it's like, well, once you start to break down who's good and who's just all right and who's okay and who's solid and who's a system QB and who's a game changer, like, there ain't that many great quarterbacks. We just sat here and I think me, you, and Scrub, I think each one of us only had either 2 or 3 elite QBs out of 32 starters. Like, so there's just not a lot of top tier QBs. And that's by design. The NFL loves that parody bullshit. Because it drives conversations like this where we could go crazy dancing around and around and around about if Dak Prescott is top 10. They love this type of shit. This shit right here would be on NFL Network on a loop if they could. We're talking about the Cowboys. Psh, they would chop this shit up and have it on a continuous loop on the NFL Network. We're doing deep dives on the Cowboys. We're doing deep dives on quarterbacks. But I think Josh is elite bottom QB, if that makes any sense, while Lamar is an elite medium. And Patrick is elite, if that makes any sense. I see where you're going. I see where you're going. Scrub, a lot of independent variables and interconnecting parts that make it hard to quantify. This stuff isn't easy to solve. It's not. And sometimes you can't solve it. Can you check the ratings of the show? You mean the ratings of the stream? Let's see. Is there something going on I need to know about? I don't see anything wrong on my end. That's how when it's all said and done. I don't take any of this personally. Nah, it's pure dogs. I remember when I worked on Sirius XM NFL radio, right? I was a producer over there. And, you work with former players and former coaches and GMs and all that type of shit. And these are guys that actually did it, paid for a living, right? And sometimes I would vehemently disagree with them. Like during commercial breaks and shit like that, we would sit there and just have debates. And these are dudes that won rings. And they're sitting telling, nah, Sam, it's like this. And I'm like, I don't see it. Maybe because, I didn't have my fingers in the dirt in the SEC and then made it to the league. Maybe I just can't understand it, but I just don't see it. Like, yeah, you played it, but I studied it. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes that's why I don't just automatically assume because a former player gets into the media game that, oh, but he's going to know what he's talking about. He or she's going to know what they're talking about. I'm like, no, that's not necessarily. Because through this media shit, I've worked with a lot of former athletes, and I'm like, you just got the gig because you're a former athlete. Like, all right, like you might got some good locker room stories, cool, but when it comes to breaking shit down, it's like 50-50, and I'm probably being generous in terms of the ratio of how many actually are on point with the shit, but it's all good. Salute to them. Let's see. I think because Brady left, because there's not that many good QBs. Maybe. If you go division by division, you see a lot of mediocrity in the rosters and the QBs. Yeah, that's big facts. It's a huge turnover right now. It's a huge turnover. If Brady didn't retire, then it would look like a lot of good QBs. I mean, really? Just one more dude. I mean, maybe that would make Dak 11th. But I mean, outside of that. Yeah, Dak is greater than Matthew. To me, you got it off though. I respected the stance. If you was like hardcore 10 toes down, I wouldn't back off. It's all good though. AB, the Heat are not going to stop Jokic. You could try to contain him and need their role players to step up. Yeah, and I don't think they're going to do it. Nuggets in 5. Love the content, Cindy. Keep cooking. Appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Oh, check the ratings of the NBA Finals. Oh, weren't they up? Let's see. Let's see. Ratings. This was as of June 6th, so it doesn't count last night. This is game 1. Latest, I guess. Okay. I don't know why they're giving me AEW ratings. So I'm going to use Wednesday night, the 4th on cable. A lot of numbers if you want wrestling ratings. If you want AEW ratings, I got you. But NBA ratings? Oh, wait, here we go. A 2.4. Well, okay. So a 2.4 share. So what was the other game? A 2.4 share is not great. But I mean, I'm not going to go crazy to keep it a buck with you, but yeah, it's not that great. I thought maybe he would have the ratings. Guess not. All right. So, 2.4 is not that great, but again, the streaming numbers, you can't compare NBA numbers to you can't compare NFL numbers to NBA numbers, in my opinion. It's different commodities. The NFL is clearly the number one sport here. So they're always going to do numbers. But I don't know. The ratings are not that great, but ABC's paid the bread, ESPN's paid the bread, the league partners are satisfied. You know, if it was truly rigged, we would have Lakers, Celtics, and ratings wouldn't even be a question. I know the first couple of games were considered good to the industry. Now, whether the league and the broadcast partners think it's good, that remains to be seen. But a 2.4 is not great unless they're measuring different metrics. because you always have to understand that's not including streaming numbers. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I watched the game on the ESPN Plus app. I didn't tune in to ABC. I was on the ESPN Plus app or the Disney Plus, well, whatever the fuck it is. I was on that shit. So like, I don't know if my stream counted last night. I don't know. It's about to rain. Where you at? Where you at? I just assumed because you had that Nets logo when you first started pulling up, I just assumed you were a New Yorker or at least a tri-stater. Game 2 peaked with 15 mil and averaged 11.9. Okay, well, 11.9. So where the hell did this 2.9 come from? What's up with this 2.9 shit? Wow, why were we getting that 2.9 number? See, this is why sometimes like stuff on the internet, it's like, all right, I don't know if I could trust it or whatever. I don't know why I'm getting AEW ratings. Like this shit right here. Like why do we get, oh, that's just on ABC and that's June 7th. Yeah, that's just on ABC. Yeah, this definitely isn't counting like the streaming. So that's 8.48 million. So it dropped. If we're going by these numbers, it certainly dropped, right? If we're saying it peaked with 15 mil and average 11.9, then I think they're saying this here was the average, 2.4, with a peak of 8.4, 8.5, essentially. Or maybe the average is 8.5 and the share is a 2.4. I don't know. Oh, we know NFL is king. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So it's like when people try to give me those numbers of, yo, NFL numbers crush NBA, I'm like, I would hope so. It's on one day a week. There's a million fucking games. The gambling has been commoditized up the ass with fantasy football and, parlays and all that type of shit. Like, it makes sense. The NFL is the most TV-friendly sport ever created. By design. They did that on purpose. They purposefully geared their sport to be better on television than any other sport. And it worked. So when people try to like, I know NFL is just better. I'm like, well, then you don't understand the science. Like if you don't do the science, then like, cause I can tell you from going to games when I was a fan and working games when I'm, now that I'm in the industry, like, football games are not fun in person. From a spectator perspective, they're not fun. Like, it's much better to watch a game on TV in the stadium than to be in the stadium looking at a game. I'd rather be in the suite watching the game on TV while I'm in the actual stadium. Like, unless you're down on the sidelines. Like, you're down on the sidelines, it's a different experience, but there's a lot of downtime. That's the problem with football. In person, it's a lot of downtime. That's why all these new stadiums, they keep putting luxury this, luxury that, iPads on the fucking seats, because they know there's so much downtime, they need to keep your attention on what's happening in the stadium. Because they know the first chance you get, you're on that phone and then you're checked out. I can tell you if the Lakers got in the finals this year, I wouldn't be watching. I think you would have. Come on, scrub. You would have been watching. Y'all would have been watching. Y'all would have been watching, man. Even for just the chaos, if they get swept, if they trick it off, like, come on. Oh, you're staying in Louisiana. Okay. I got people out there. I got people up in Shreveport and Bossier. Okay. But you're from New York. All right, salute. Salute. down there in the bayou. Get you some of that Rotel. I can't spell for shit today. AR. Is that him? Nope, that's fucking Tom Arnold. AZARLY. This microphone is in the way of my keyboard, so that's why I'm typing so slow. So did I fuck his name up? Tom ARAZARLY. Okay. People. Okay. What's up with your mans? Tomar. Gotta do the capital A. Is the capital all the difference? Nope. All right. All right, we'll figure that out. Full games can be boring at the stadium. Nah, they really can be, bro. Trust me. Even working them when I was on the sidelines and shit, like it's dope to be on the sidelines of an NFL game when like the action's going on, but when it's in a commercial break, it's a long ass 3.5 minutes, bro. Big facts. Went to basketball game multiple times. Yeah, but basketball, I haven't. Wait, have I done hockey? No, technically, I still haven't done hockey. I still haven't done NHL. I've done college hockey, but I haven't done NHL. NHL hockey, I've heard, is the best like live in-person experience because of the action. But out of all the other sports I've been to, baseball, football, basketball, yeah, football's the worst in person. Maybe game 4 in a sweep scenario, but I'm good on watching any more LeBron games. Yes, especially if he's going to be shooting up all them damn threes like he was. Oh, it's Tomir. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get him again. Switch to A for E. There we go. Clippers beat writer. Okay. Tyler Hero listed as out. Okay, so he seems to be in the mix. Up, doing the shot chart. Doing the shot chart. Real recognize real. I think the one on Basketball Reference, this looks better, but I just prefer the Basketball Reference one. But salute, though. Real recognize real. I've seen the point fraud play one time. I apologize for you having to witness that in person. I have never seen the wait, hold on. Have I? No, I've never seen the point fraud in person. I saw Kobe once. I've seen LeBron a bunch. KD twice. Steph twice. D-Wade. Like I was doing a lot of stuff around the Garden when the Heatles were crazy, when like the peak of the LeBron Heatles thing. So I saw them a bunch whenever they came to the Garden. Yeah, Kobe, his next to last game in Brooklyn, or was it his last game? I'm not sure if that was his last year or not. Either his last year or the year before, like his last trip to Brooklyn. That was my first and only time seeing him in person. But yeah, I just think basketball is just better in person. Football is not that, you know what I'm saying? Baseball is slow, but because now they got the speed clock and all that shit, the pitch clock and all that now to help speed up the game. But even though baseball is longer, it just didn't feel as longer because it's kind of a constant slowness. Whereas football, it's, what they say, in like a 3-hour game, there's only about, 20 minutes of actual action. Like, that's a lot, bro. That's 3 hours and 10 minutes of inactivity. It'd be feeling like a long time during the commercial breaks for NFL at home. I couldn't imagine being in the stadium during those breaks. Bro, it's brutal, man. It's brutal. Sometimes I would, with the job I had at that time, I would either be in the production truck or I could be on the sideline. So if it was a good game, I'm on the sideline. If it's a trash game, I'm in the truck. You know what I'm saying? So, but like sometimes just to break it up, you might switch it up. You might try to spend maybe the first half in the truck, second half, if it's a good game. All right, I'll go down to the sideline, stuff like that. But yeah, man, this is just a lot of standing around. That's why for me on the sidelines, I got to hear a lot of stuff being said on the sidelines. Because there's so much downtime. Dudes just be talking. Equipment people be talking. Other media people be talking. Referees be talking. Umpires, all the officials, like. So you just hear stuff because there's so much downtime, so much time to kill. I know I've gotten a lot of tea over the years just from ear hustling on the sidelines because there's so much downtime. Yeah, going to go see Steph and him sitting out, that sucks. That's that load management bullshit. Spider Mitchell, okay. Haven't seen Spider yet. I haven't been to a NBA game in a minute. Well, no, I went to the Nets playing game. That's the last NBA game. The Nets playing game, what was that, now 2 seasons ago? That was the last NBA game I did, the Nets playing game. Skip Zero, I got to go to a Mets game before. It was a cool experience. Slow, yes, but nicely placed. And they won that day I went, so that was fun. Now, was that Shea or City Field? It's a big question, Scrub Zero. It's a big question. Was that Shea or City? Did take a picture of Steph being on the bench. Yes, Nets versus Cavs. Yeah, I couldn't think of who it was. So then that's again, yeah, no, that still wasn't Spider Mitchell, right? Yeah, no. So yeah, Nets versus Cavs. That's what it was. It was the play-in. Yeah, that was the play-in. Yep. Before I got swept. Yep. That was the last NBA game I did. Everything else has been fucking remote and all that shit. So I think that'll change soon, but we'll see. Let's see. Anything else going on? Let me see. Let me go to NBA Central. I have some stuff with LeBron in them, but we'll save that because Friday streams are normally pretty slow with news. So I'll save some of that stuff. All right. I guess we can end on this. This is just hilarious. Chris Haynes says it's pretty safe to say that Damian Lillard won't accept a trade to Boston. Quote, he's not doing Boston. Add that to the list of melanated men that have said no to Boston. That is Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Paul George. Now we can add Damian Lillard to that list of melanated men that have all said no to Boston. Nah, all good. Yeah, nah, that's not weird. So you just take a pic. Yeah, got the cell phone, fucking do it. Yeah, no worries. I think it was Jay. Oh, nah, it was City. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I haven't been to City. Ooh, have I been to City? I went to Shea a lot growing up. You know what I'm saying? South Side. But I've only been to City once for a game. And then I've been to City once for, what the hell was that? They have one of those, damn, what's that shit called? Oh, the Powder Run? No, what's that shit? It was like a 5K with an obstacle course type shit. I forget the name of it, man. It was years ago though. That's the only other time I was in City. I went to City Field officially for a game because they were doing interleague with the Tigers, and I wanted to see Miguel Cabrera hit. I forget what landmark he was chasing at that point, but the fact that he's still fucking in the league, like that's just. I thought I was like, let me catch him before he retires. Motherfucker's still playing. This sounds like damn near a decade ago or some shit like that. So it's crazy. It's crazy. It really is favorite football. I mean, yo, dogs, yay. A lot of people are gonna watch that Bill Russell doc on Netflix, and they are getting put on game. I mean, we all knew a lot of that stuff, but a lot of casuals are gonna watch that doc on Netflix and realize, oh no, that's why. That's why all of them keep saying no. All right, let's see. I'll do a little bit more scrolling, but I think we're wrapping up. More LeBron stuff. We can look past that. Okay. We'll save that for tomorrow. Uh-oh. We'll do a bad trade. One last bad trade before we up out of here. This is what happens when the clicks aren't clicking a lot. You got to jump out the window and say some silly shit, or have your writers write up some silly shit. So allegedly, this is a trade idea. So again, there's no validity to this trade. It is just an idea to generate conversation. The point guard goes to Boston. Phoenix gets Marcus Smart. That's a trade that doesn't help either side, and that's why it's just an idea and not something that's source. So when we're reaching that point of the stream, I think it's time to tap up out. I appreciate y'all for pulling up, everyone who contributed to the chat, everyone who was able to tap in and drop a like. Always appreciative of that. Channel's continuing to grow, getting the watch time up with the hours and all that good stuff. All this YouTube shit is new to me, so I'm learning what matters and what doesn't. So I'm learning on the fly, but I thank y'all for pulling up and being a part of this journey with me. So we'll end off the week strong. It'll be the eve of Game 4, so we'll tap in. All right, I'll get in this one last one here from Magic Man. I did went to the game that was Giannis versus KD, where Giannis hit the shot to go to OT. Okay. That was a good matchup. They was going toe-to-toe that day. I remember that. I remember the highlights of it. Yeah, it was a good game. See, and you pick those games by design because you're hoping you get a scenario like that. So that's dope. That's dope. You got a chance to experience that. All right. Well, let me see. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to get the music in here before I bid y'all a good night. So, yeah. As I was saying, thank y'all for pulling up. We'll finish off the week strong with a Friday stream. It'll be the eve of Game 4. Thank y'all for contributing to the chat. I'm glad we got a game tomorrow night. Like Magic Man is saying, yeah, we don't have to wait 2 days. Very appreciative of that. So, yeah, man. We'll be here to preview it. I'll have some sound. I'm sure there'll be more tea from the timeline. Zion, we did a lot of Zion. So if you missed some of that Zion stuff, holla at the replay on the live tab of the video channel. But yeah, man, I'll holla at y'all tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Until whenever. See y'all tomorrow. Time on T, Sam D. I'm out.